Okay, so the personal logo positive negative space assignment is posted right now. What it says, essential question: can I create a logo that represents me using the first letter in my last name and an image in negative space, or the other way around? Using all the information that we have collected over the previous 3 assignments, you will need to create a logo that will represent you. The logo we made up with the first letter of your last name being shown in positive space, and an image or images that represent you in negative space of letter, or letter represented in image, flip it around. Remember, a little tip, you are not building your letter out of objects or images. You are using the letter and subtracting the image from it in negative space. Okay, so let me jump into that and flip my cameras around. All right, so if this is what I'm working on right here, and here was my 5 words that I had. I had strong, I had happy, I had big, compassion, motivated, all those different things. That's what I'm going to start working into with my my project. So I said already, we're using the first letter of our last name. So with me, it's going to be R. Now, the logo that we make is going to represent you. So, and not all of you know me really well, but if I'm going to do an R that represents Mr. Reynoso, am I going to do an R that looks like that? You think that represents me really well? This is where we have class participation. No. Janet, thanks. No, it's really squished. Okay. What would represent me better? Or why wouldn't that represent me well? That was a question, by the way. Why doesn't that represent me very well? This little, oh wait, you can't see. Why doesn't that one represent me really well? What should I have instead represent me? Cool. So something bolder. That's a great way to put it. Okay. Maybe something like this. Maybe that would be a little bit more, or even maybe that would represent me a little bit better. Okay. Something bigger, something bolder. Okay. So the one thing too is if we're going to be using letters, it's probably beneficial to use block letters because there's more positive space and there's more negative space to work with. Remember, going back to our positive negative space project, that's the whole purpose of this whole lesson is understanding how to utilize and how to see positive negative space. Okay, so what I need to do then with this one that I have here is I need to write out my R, but then I need to identify where my negative space is. So I have like negative space right here. It's kind of as it curves around this way too. This is all kind of a negative space angle. I have negative space right here in the inside of my R. I have negative space underneath the R. And then I have kind of like this corner that I could use as negative space as well. Okay. So I have all of these that I can utilize. It's kind of funny. I didn't realize this until like 2 years ago, but how using positive and negative space does this represent Mr. Reynoso? How does that represent me? first name is Ian, and it starts with an I. Anybody? Is anybody there? Are we awake? Are we paying attention? Are we looking outside and watching light snowflakes? There is an I inside here. Okay? So if I color this whole thing in, I have my R, but then in the negative space, I have a lowercase I. So I have the I from my name and the R from my name all worked into the same image. I have two letters with one form. Okay? So how we need to progress in this is we got to figure out how we're going to work our images into our letters. So say one of my words is artistic. Okay? So I'm going to be artistic, and I say an image that I have for being artistic is like a paintbrush. Okay, so here's my paintbrush. Well, how can I work a paintbrush into an R? Well, I might be able to move it right in here. So what if my paintbrush R ended up looking like this? Okay. Now I have negative space for my R, or for positive space for the outside of the R. Negative space is this little white paintbrush that's inside my R. And now I have essentially accomplished the project's goal, which is I've showed the first letter of my last name, and I've showed something that represents me inside the negative space of that letter. Right? I have an R. I got to flatten this out a little bit because I don't want it to look like a B. I have an R, and I have my paintbrush on the inside. Okay? I can take that approach, or I can put the R into an object. So say like football is one of them. Or one of the things that you guys had here. So you had a planet. Okay? So what I can do is I can draw like my planet. I'm going to go really light with pen. I'd probably use pencil if I were drawing this like for realsies. Okay, so there's my planet. And then I'm going to like cut out an R. Cut an R out of my planet. And I'm going to cut it out. So what's going to happen is I'm going to go like this and make all this positive space stuff. I'll come here. Okay, and then out here, I'm not going to color in these rings. I'm just going to make thick rings outsides to kind of show where those lines would be. Now I have a planet that has an R inside of it in negative space. Does that make sense? Let me do one more just to kind of make sure we're all on the same page. Say I want to cut. Should I do, or let me ask you guys, I'll ask your opinion. Should I do an image inside of an R or an R inside of an image? Ooh, wait, I have a little fancy pole. Which one should I do? An image inside the letter or a letter inside the image? Letter inside or image inside? Vote! I feel like I'm a tech genius. Ooh, it's a race. 5 votes for letter inside, 3 votes. Oh, 6 votes for letter inside. Can I get a 7? Can I get a 7, 7, 7, 7? Can I get a 4? 4 for the image inside, 4 for the image inside, 7 for the image outside. Oh, there's a 7. You guys need to wake up. We got 10 votes and 30 people. $11 votes. We have 11 votes. 12 votes. 13. Okay. Looks like it's going to be letter inside. So I will close that poll out because that was horrendous. Thanks for voting by voice. Wait, we said letter inside, right? I'll do letter inside. So if I go like this, say I'm going to do a football. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm going to draw like a generic football. And I have like these little football stripes. And then I'm going to go like this. And I'm going to make my R inside of the football. Okay, again, do that with pencil first. Then I'm going to go and figure out what my positive and negative space are. So I'm going to leave this little white stripe here. I'm going to go like this. My football is my positive space. My negative space in this image is these little stripes on the end and then the R here. And then you know what? I can go like this and color in this little center of my R, but why not go like this? Put the laces of a football. That kind of works in for that space. And now I have my R inside of a football. Okay. Again, ideally, I don't want to have these little pen lines all over. Those are going to be gone. So it's just nothing but negative space. Okay. So once that happens, I got to show you this too. Remember, we are not building our letter out of images. So it's not like I go, oh, let me see, I'm an artist. So I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to draw a paintbrush. And it goes like that. And then I also like basketball, so I'm going to go like this. And then I also play hockey, so I'm going to take like a hockey stick. I'm going to go like that. Hey, Mr. Rosa, I'm done. I made an R with the stuff that I like. This is not what we're doing. Okay? That's not positive, negative space. We're working into negative. So the white is inside of the black. Or the white is inside of the black here. The white inside of the black here. Positive, negative space. Okay? So for your project, for the requirements, and I'll add this to that one that I have posted over there. Okay? Oops, wrong word. Draw at least 4 logo ideas and turn them in. You are going to draw 4 logo ideas and then turn those 4 ideas in. Okay? But Mr. Renoso, it's a lot of work. Why do I have to turn 4 in? Because if you go like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can say, whoa, 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 whoa. Definitely not 4. Remember I said don't do that one. Okay. Number 1 looks all right, but you only have a letter. You don't have something that represents you. Number 3 and number 2 look pretty good. They're probably your strongest. So I'll let you pick whichever one of those you want to do and turn in whatever one you want as your final. And then you'll redraw it on a full sheet of paper, and that will be your final project. Okay? Colored in with white in your negative space, and then black or your solid color you want to use for the rest of it. But it's really important that you do that, because the problem that I have is I have kids, if I say, hey, just draw your logo and turn it in, I have kids draw it, and they turn it in, and it's wrong. And I say, oh, 1 out of 5. Hey, you got to make sure you fix this. And then they never go back and fix it, and they get a 1 out of 5. Or my goal is to help you all get A's and be successful. So we will draw our 4 different ideas, and I'll tell you which one I think is the most successful, or which 2 I'll let you pick, and then we'll go from there. Okay? All of that will be due on Friday, so tomorrow. So you have today to start working on it. Tomorrow we'll check in, we'll finish them, and then we'll start our final project next Monday. Questions you guys have on the stuff that I went over right now?